Hello, welcome back to me on this channel. I'm gonna fix him right here. So yeah, something's different, isn't it? Yes. Jake, what about you has changed? Behold, my glorious neck tattoo. I tried to explain what this tattoo was going to be to so many people, and a lot of people could not wrap their heads around exactly what I was talking about, so now you can see it. Like, oh, so it's just like on the side? I'm like, no, it's like neck, throat, like the whole way around. I'm like, oh, so it's gonna be like blacked out with like the octopus in the middle. It's like, no. The whole thing is going to be the octopus monster. Incredibly frustrating, but hopefully now you guys can see exactly what the hell I meant. So it is the Elder God from Soul Reaver, in keeping with the rest of my Soul Reaver chest and neck piece, maintaining the theme. So this was a 6-hour sitting. Your boy sits like a rock. But unfortunately, we ran out of time, and I am back in the chair in the next 2 weeks to get the rest of it done. There is at least another 4 hours of this, so I don't want people being like, it didn't look that great. It is not finished. There is at least 4 hours left to go. Like this hasn't been colored in. Come on, guys. There's also another layer of detail to go. There's more shading. There's more shadows. There's just so much more to do. And not long after I finish my neck tattoo, I will be getting my face tattooed as well, and I cannot wait. The only thing I'm waiting on right now is trying to decide on the design that I actually want on my face, because it's going to be there on my face for everyone to see all the time. I do have some abstract ideas. I'm just trying to think of something that's not easy to make fun of. It's likely going to be something original, not video game related. Anyway, I was gonna do some drunk reaction videos, but I completely forgot that I drank all of my wine over the weekend. But for some reason, your lad has not been getting hangovers, so I'm enjoying that. But today we're gonna be reacting to some alt TikToks. I'm gonna try a bunch of different compilers, because I feel like the compiler we've been watching seems to have a certain type. Maybe we'll find something with. Maybe this will turn into a cringe reaction video. Do you remember those? The thing that made my channel? Screw it! Might go back to doing those. Perhaps I've been far too considerate. In fact, now that I think about it, perhaps castrating my content in order to cater and coddle those who are much more sensitive has likely been detrimental to my channel, not so much my character. Though my online perception, my persona that is projected online, don't really care. It's all about the content, kids. I don't care what you think, just as long as you watch. Adorable. I mean, they look about 9, but, you know, adorable. Great outfit also. But the juxtaposition, it is so stark. It is cloying. You have this traditional goth style, right? The frilly shirt, and we've got the makeup, the bright white makeup with the black lips, which is like super classic. And they're even called Batcarve, which to be honest with you sounds like some sort of really posh way of saying Batcave. Probably not an American accent, right? Because that would be Batcarve. But you could just imagine someone being like, oh yes, I'm going to the Batcarve. And I've actually seen someone talk to me about this. So the music that this person is listening to is horrific and has absolutely no tie at all to the attire that is presented in this video. But I heard some kids saying that like, oh, it's all about hitting the algorithm. It's like, okay, but that doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to hit the algorithm to that song's demographic? It's not gonna make any sense. The people who like that type of music that you are trying to reach aren't going to be into that kind of aesthetic. So what is the point? It's like trying to educate cis women on the importance of checking your testicles for testicular cancer. The presentation and the demographic don't really intermingle, do they? It is the strangest shit. It's so strange. I've said this before, like, what the hell is happening? What is this aesthetic? See, I'm interested because a lot of kids seem to be making things like, you know, blah blah core. And usually whenever people refer to like something core, and I've seen people trying to say that like core in this sense is being used as like it's the whole point of the movement, but that's not originally what that meant. I'm also interested in where you've gotten that information, especially because a lot of people also seem to say other things, like core is referring to a French terminology, referring to some sort of basis for the movement. Right? So no one can really decide what the hell the core part is when it's being added as a suffix to all of these strange new subcultures. The fact that no one can really decide, and the fact that everyone seems to have a different idea of what it can possibly mean, means it's derived from the musical term core, as in a derivative of hardcore, like metalcore and deathcore. They are metal that have derivatives of hardcore from the 90s. And core just became this, basically a misnomer, and is now being used as a synonym when referring to something that is of a certain thing. The word core, well, the suffix core now just seems to be used in referring to aesthetics and nothing else. And it's not that that's a problem. I mean, aesthetics are super fun, and there's a very large amount of influencing factors that can drive someone or inspire someone to dress like this. I'm not a music elitist. I'm literally anything but. What I'm trying to do is just figure out where the hell this has come from. Because back in the day, we had one inspiration and one inspiration only, and that was the music that we listened to and the image of the bands who made that music. And we would all dress up like our favorite bands. It was simple as that. What other influences could there possibly be? But of course, now we realize that there's literature and cartoons and comic books and movies. There's all sorts of different things that can drive someone to dress a certain way. For example, sport. You see people walking around in football t-shirts as casual wear. And it's not because of the music. It's because of the sport. You see people walking around in trench coats. It's because of The Crow. A movie, not a song, or a subgenre. What I'm trying to understand is there really some sort of extremely popular mainstream representation of clown culture that has somehow inspired teenagers like this person here? And since it's obviously been removed from any kind of music, exactly why is the word core being used in this context?
You better when you were smoking.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're right. My feet are long and stupid. You can't unring that bell.
What? What? Usually there's like context given.
My feet are long and stupid. You can't unring that bell.
Unless they are actually just talking about the fact that their feet are long and stupid, in which case I can relate. I have long feet.
The computer say, Floyd said, fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what did he say fuck me for? Nelly.
I must have known about 10 dudes who all look like that. I must have known at least 10 dudes who looked like that back in college. At least 10. And then they all had friends that looked like them. It's unreal how people just seem to accidentally all fall into a certain style. Here we have it again. Fantastic outfit. Beautiful outfit. Amazing, even. We've got the veil, we've got the spiky head thing as part of the veil, the cross, the chains, and then you've also got the Baphomet medallion, which looks super cool, entirely vampiric, beautiful. They're even drinking the blood. And then the song that they're singing to is a nightcore version of Lady Gaga's Paparazzi. But it's not really nightcore, it's just sped up and slightly higher, which I've had to alter for the sake of copyright. See, I can excuse the My Little Pony and the Hello Kitty plushies on the because as everybody knows, goth chicks have two levels. They have two sides. It's either dark and scary or pink and candy coated. Nothing in between. It is remarkable how common these two coincide. But just before, you know, you guys think, I'm going to try and appeal to a wider demographic here, and instead of listening to music that I actually like, I'm actually going to mime to a song that is garbage, but has a much higher view count. You have to remember that not only are you using audio that is highly popular, or is likely to get in front of a lot of people, you also have an image aspect to that as well. So people might hear the song and be like, I like this song. And then they'll see the vampire thing and just be like, this is stupid. Are people who listen to Lady Gaga, or are people who listen to a lot of these rappers, this not even rappers, it's just trash. It's just trash. Are they really gonna get on board with the alternative aesthetic here and be like, damn yeah. In fact, I've seen alternative people on TikTok do a lot better by using alternative music, because guess what? You're appealing to your own demographic. Great. I mean, it was vanity TikTok, but it's fine because their makeup was phenomenal. Also, double eyebrow piercings, love it. Making me want to get double eyebrow piercings. But I can't. They don't stay for long on me. Mine grow out super fast. Classic eyebrows, right? So this is mid-2000s eyebrows. Absolutely love it. Choker is dope. Shit, I got a choker and I didn't wear it for this video. God damn. I'll wear it for the next one. They were also using alternative music. It sounded like Deftones. I'm not really that much of a fan of Deftones. Never have been. I didn't get the appeal, but a lot of people seem to be really into Deftones, and I feel like it's like that with a lot of polarizing music. You know, music that's like, at first listen is awful, but then you sort of get into it, and suddenly the music that is actually that is initially terrible becomes the most obsessive point of your life. And for me, that was Deering Gray. I know some Deering Gray songs on first listen aren't great, but it's not until you really immerse yourself in the culture of Deering Gray and what they represent, what was originally not great sounding becomes something that you finally understand and is the most incredible song you've ever heard. And it was the same with Typo Negative. Don't like Typo Negative at all. At all. In fact, I hated Typo Negative. Still not a fan, but I don't hate things anymore. But I had one or two friends who absolutely lived or died for Typo Negative, and I just didn't understand it. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, this is, at first listen, this is awful. Why are you so obsessed with it? I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I'm just trying to start a dialogue about terrible bands who seem to have extremely dedicated fan bases and how the hell that actually happens. Great photos. So, but I've seen this, right? Finally managed to take the photos. So where has this come from? This terminology. Why is it now so ubiquitous as things like this spread like wildfire? Further proving mimetic theory far exceeds the confines of, I think, probably anthropology, right? That's where mimetic theory comes from. But I've seen people going on Instagram and TikTok just being like, guys, I finally took the photo. Is it just like a photo that you're very proud of? Is that all it is? Great photos, by the way. You absolutely did take the photos. Absolutely fantastic. The authenticity is astounding. Oh, the hair, the makeup, just literally everything here. Right down to the music. See what I'm saying? Not only does their aesthetic appeal, but so does the music also appeal to the demographic they're trying to hit. See how unifying these two things are far more effective than polarizing them? Honestly, immaculate. Fantastic. Those are great lenses. You don't see too many people with those kinds of lenses. People usually buy the usual ones, you know, like blue or white. But you don't see too many people wearing that color lens, right? Or red. People buy red a lot. Oh, that was the Machine Gun Kelly cover of Misery Business. Oh my god, that really is awful. Holy shit! Is that what it sounds like? Oh my god! How are people still fans? Oh, that's right, he's tall and skinny. That's how he still has fans. It's amazing what you can get away with if you're attractive. Oh yeah!
This is a joke, right?
Damn! See, I love it when people like pick a period aesthetic and they absolutely commit to it. They look great. Big fan. Do you know what? I've actually recently started getting back into 80s stuff. I say getting back into 80s stuff. I grew up watching a lot of 80s movies because obviously my parents, you know, a lot of their favorite stuff was from the 80s because that was when they went through their 20s. So of course, whenever it comes to, you know, raising their firstborn in the 90s, they're like, well, you know, we have an abundance of 80s movies that he can watch. And it, you know, I used to love the 80s stuff, and then I grew older and realized how crappy it all looked, and I was sick of the aesthetic. And then I went through a phase of just like only watching modern stuff and only enjoying modern things. But as I reached the end of my 20s and got into my 30s, I actually found it extremely comforting and nostalgic to watch 90s and 80s stuff. And I've been watching it a lot recently, like, you know, the classics, like Back to the Future and Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I think was like 1989, I think it started. But yeah, you know, that sort of fuzzy, blurry, warm look that a lot of these shows and movies had. The sound design, the fashion, the music. I found a lot of comfort in it recently, and it's been enjoyable to get back into that again. Oh yeah, this is my era. This right here is my era of alternative right here. Ah, oh my heart. Oh, my heart is gonna break. Ah, it's over. It's over, it's gone, it's dead. And that wasn't an ironic subculture movement. That was what it looked like. When kids do it these days, they're just doing it ironically. Or to pay homage to the golden era of alternative.
dick and fucking like it.
That's right. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Do you know what? I've noticed. I don't know why I started sounding like Morty. You know what? Yeah, I've noticed a lot of stuff recently. And I've noticed in this compilation, a lot of people using alternative music. Yeah. And it's, you know, it's actually quite refreshing to see that, considering my complaint at the beginning of the video. Not familiar with the song, but that was awesome. Love the aesthetic, love the music. See what I'm saying? It's amazing when the aesthetic and the music choices coalesce to create a perfect whole package.
I do not have time for this. I do not have time for you.
See, a certain Batman quote comes to mind whenever it comes to kids romanticizing the 90s. You merely adopted the 90s. I was born in it. Molded by it. See, you kids who were born after the 2000s and also in the latter half of the 90s, you romanticized the 90s as if it was this incredibly amazing, wonderful time in everyone's lives. And it was, and you missed it. Hell, in the early 2000s was probably the best time to be a teenager, and you missed that too! Oh, it feels good to be 30. If you guys get to make fun of me for being this old, then I get to hold the fact that I was born in the best decade and grew up in the second best decade and got to enjoy the things that you kids are now emulating for their first time. Back when they were first relevant. Oh, Jake, you're so old. 30's so old. Oh, yeah? Well, all the things that you idolize, I actually lived, bitch. Enjoy my hand-me-down culture. It was nice the first time. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. You don't have to look your subculture all the time. It's because your subculture isn't here. But it's funny that scene and emo got a resurgence. A very powerful resurgence. Like I mentioned in my previous video, has left out a lot of the toxicity. But I think that's because scene and emo didn't have any elitism in it, did it? It's amazing how goth subculture, as it entirely and utterly died at the end of the 80s and has continued in a way that I can only describe as ironic, that the only thing that is more associated with the goth subculture as a white face and black lipstick is their arrogant sense of elitism. And I understand that people are probably going to leave a comment like, hey Jake, in the beginning of the video you literally had a rant how people's music choices don't match their aesthetic, and to that I say, shut up and listen to my words. You can listen to what you want, you can dress how you want, but I feel like these kids are trying to do a certain thing, and that is get their numbers bigger, in which case you should probably advertise to your target demographic. Also perplexed as to how people are getting these aesthetics without the music, but you can do what you want, I don't care. But yes, other than the extremely recognizable aesthetic attributes that the goth subculture has to it, the only other thing that is also deeply and immediately associated with goth subculture is the arrogant elitism. That's probably why goth has never actually come back and likely never will. Because elitists refuse to let it change. And if it can't change, it can't survive. Emo changed. Honestly, I think the goth subculture is going to become more and more niche. It's going to become so rare. It's going to be so rare to the point where it's likely going to be parodied, ironically, and then die a death altogether. Because you see, whenever you condemn the next movement of alternative subcultures, whenever you force people to take inspiration from certain things that they're not actually into and are not even relevant by societal standards, by youth standard, then it's not going to work. In fact, you're going to vilify your movement and people will want nothing to do with it. Honestly, it feels like goth elitists want it to die because only then they will have it, which is probably what they want, right? It's just like, it's like a little club and they've created rules that are so ridiculous that only they can be in it. Like a group of kids in school who make like a club somewhere on, you know, the playground. And if you want to get in and play with them, you have to know the password. The problem is they won't tell anyone the freaking password. And even if you did know the password, it was such a stupid word, you didn't even want to say it anyway. So what's to stop people from just not joining the club and going making another club? Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I had a great day today because I made it a great day, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.